has given Tennessee the lead. Christian Scott, the leap at the fence. He robs a home run.
Sponsored by Fieldhouse Social, the modern sports bar next to campus at University Commons. FieldhouseSocial.com.
Ben Joyce kicks and delivers. Strike three.
Rock Solid Sports, the only show with a home field advantage for UT Athletics. Here's tonight's host.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Hi, how are we doing tonight? Welcome to the Wednesday edition of Rock issues going on, but we're working on sorting them out. Until we do, I will be taking over hosting duties. It is Dylan here. On the other side of the glass, we have Devin. Devin, how are you doing?
Hey, Dylan, I will always ask.
Yes, we can. Unfortunately, we can't hear everyone else. We're working on it. Also on the phone, we have Coach Mark of the Knoxville Ice Bears. Coach, how are you doing? We're doing all right. So I guess starting things off, you went even for the weekend with a 7-5 win against Roanoke on Friday and a 3-2 loss at Roanoke on Saturday. What were kind of the ups and downs of the weekend? Transitioning into that, for those who don't know, the round one playoff schedule is at Huntsville tomorrow. Friday night is going to be here in Knoxville, 7:35 puck drop, and Saturday, if necessary, fingers crossed, it won't be, and I mean that in a good way, at Huntsville. Does home or not having home ice really matter for the playoffs?
I can't myself today. Don't laugh at me. This has to be plugged in for Elisa's to go.
Yeah, I'm not being. Hang on a second. I think we have everyone. Nope, it appears we do not. Moving on from that, with the neutral site and Huntsville kind of being slightly out of their comfort zone, what's something different you got to do given it's in a neutral site?
Well, I mean, just get going early. I mean, it's a small rink, and it's kind of like what we're used to, and that benefits us. Where their main rinks are much bigger, and they're pretty loud in there as well. Just be able to take the noise out of there. Hopefully, get up early and keep the foot on the gas pedal there.
Devin, across the glass, you got anything?
Yeah, I've actually got a question for Coach here. So, this is Devin, Coach, and last time we talked, it seemed like there were some frustrations about the way the defense was playing. And last game, even though you guys lost, it was a 3-2 score, kind of a more normal hockey score. What changes did you make, going into that game to improve the defensive efficiency for that matchup against the Rail Yard Dogs?
Well, I mean, we're all fighting for positioning in the standings and home ice advantage, and that game was more of a playoff game. That's what you're going to see versus the during the season games, where sometimes they're higher scoring games, just like the NHL, and get tightened up come playoff time. But I think both teams kind of play their playoff rosters, and what they're going to be doing heading into playoffs, and that's why we're so much tighter. And I thought our team did a lot better working on that as late, and just continuing to work on it leading into tomorrow night.
Yeah, and I wanted to ask about the Huntsville Habit that you're going up against. What would you say is their biggest strength? What would you say is the thing that not? I don't want to say worries you, but I'll just leave that. What do you think Huntsville's biggest strength is?
They're an off-the-rush team. They got a few guys who can put the puck in the net over there. They're experienced. A lot of those guys have been together for the last so many years and have won championships together, and they haven't changed too many players in the last few years. So I mean, that is a plus for them when we have a much younger team and less veterans and what have you. But that's that and their power play. We can take away their power play, and hopefully we're not in the box at all in the playoffs. We've been working on that as of late, and we haven't had too many penalties the last 3 games, so hopefully we can continue that.
Oh yeah, that's fantastic, Coach. Yeah, I remember that was another thing you talked about. You wanted to clean things up, wanted to stop having, which again was part of playing Roanoke so many times. Honestly, those emotions boil over. Do you feel getting into this game against Huntsville? Do you feel like you will see a little bit more grittiness? Does this really feel like a rivalry game for the playoffs, or do you think it's not going to really feel that?
Well, no, it'll be gritty, but it'll be between the whistles. You won't see too many fights in playoffs, because if you get kicked out, you're out, right? So, I mean, that's something you don't want to do. You want to be in the playoffs, and you want to help your team win. And guys are going to, keep their gloves on in the playoffs and, just work on that one goal. So.
All right, and then, Coach, the season is, I did the math in my head, I think 7 months long. Bailey Conger was named SPHL Player of the Month. I feel like half the season an Ice Bear has been named Player of the Month. How was that for the team?
Oh, it's great. Great for Bailey. Happy for him to get that honor. I mean, Justin McDonald, I think, had it back-to-back. And he also won the Kevin Swider Award as of late for the SPHL, which was good for him. Kudos for him. But, yeah, no, I mean, we lead the league in scoring goals for. So, I mean, it's down the defensive side that we, we're also up there in goals against. So, I mean, we did bring in a couple different D as, near the end of the season, and a couple of new acquisitions with some of our new defensive zone coverage. And I think we'll be more than fine.
All right, and then, Coach, to wrap things up, I know you're probably more focused on your guys winning the playoffs, but with the NHL playoffs starting within the next couple days, who do you got winning the Stanley Cup?
I mean, I always have to say the Leafs, because that's my team, but, hopefully they go as far as they can and they don't have another versus Boston one-round exit. But, wish those guys luck. I
mean, it'll be exciting to finally see Toronto possibly win a playoff series. Anyways, thank you so much, Coach, and hopefully next week we can have you back and keep things going. So good luck to the team this week.
You got it. Thank you.
Thanks, Coach. All right, that was Coach Clark from the Knoxville Ice Bears. I believe we have the guys at Fieldhouse now. Is this true?
Yeah, can you guys hear us finally? We got success.
Yes, we do.
All right. Thank you. Thanks so much for taking that over, guys. Dylan, you did a fantastic job operating that conversation with Coach Clark.
A lot less stressful than the last time I had to impromptu host, if we all remember that.
Yes, that was going back to the dreaded concert that night. Don't remember who it was, but it doesn't matter.
Blake Shelton.
Thank you. That I saw the face. I could not see the name.
You tried to erase it from your memory.
It shows you how much I pay attention to country music. All right. So, yes, as always, I'm your Wednesday night host, Chris Clark. I got Jackson beside me, man. We are finally live to you from Fieldhouse Social down here at Fieldhouse Social. That is 2525 University Commons Way. American Craft Food, Beer, Cocktails. This big 21-foot digital big screen TV behind us. Plenty more TVs throughout the place and the back patio. Fieldhouse Social open at 11 a.m. Wednesdays through Sundays and open at 4 p.m. on Mondays and Tuesdays. All right, so let's get back into it. We just got off the phone with Coach Clark. We got the playoffs coming up for the Ice Bears, and so it was great to hear from him. Obviously, we wish all the success to the Ice Bears, and I hope we can talk to them next week about their victories. Moving forward, we've got some NHL talk. If you guys want to get back into that, there's a lot going on with the playoffs.
Yeah, sadly, none of it is good news for us. Unfortunately, the Predators got eliminated from the playoffs on Monday. Winnipeg beat Minnesota 3-1 last night, so that completely booted Nashville out. Devin, how you feeling?
Yeah, I mean, now the thing is, even though I'm disappointed, Nashville had a good season. They had a really good run, and their team, let's just face it, they were not good enough to be in the playoffs, in my opinion. The scoring differential was negative the entire season. I do feel like Winnipeg, once they committed, is a better team right now. The only thing that Nashville, in my opinion, is close to Winnipeg in is goaltending. UC Saros is so incredible, and Winnipeg has the incredible Connor Hellebuck, which would make things interesting in the first round of the Jets. But other than that, the Jets are a better team. So I'm glad that Nashville took Calgary out. That was cool. But the Preds have a really young team, and they're rebuilding, and they've completely changed up. Management, as we all know, Barry Trotz is interestingly enough now the GM. Traded away Matthias Ekholm to the Oilers, which seems to be working out well for them. But the Predators got a really nice haul out of that. So for a rebuilding team to get that close to the playoffs, I'm pretty impressed with that overall. And I think the young guys, Tommy Novak, for example, grew up in Minnesota, incredible player. He looks like he's got tremendous potential. Tomasino still got really high potential. There's a lot of young, exciting potential. It reminds me of the Memphis Grizzlies from a few years ago. So lots of youth and potential with that team. Other than that, the playoffs look like they're going to be really fantastic. We've obviously got a couple playoff matchups confirmed. That have been confirmed for a little while.
All but one.
Yeah, I mean, well, all the teams are. I'm talking about matchups themselves, like Leafs and Lightning and Rangers and Devils are confirmed, which is fantastic. Those will both be so incredible. But yeah, all the teams are in except for that last spot in the East. Who's going to be the lucky team to play the Boston Bruins?
So the way I look at it, it's either going to be Pittsburgh or New York, but a few things need to happen if Pittsburgh wants that last spot. They need to beat Columbus tomorrow, I think it is. And Montreal needs to beat the New York Islanders because I want to say New York is 2 points ahead of – actually, no, they're 1 point ahead of Pittsburgh. Yeah. So essentially, New York just needs to basically fall apart in order for Pittsburgh to make the playoffs. Someone was playing with some stats and simulations or whatever. There's only an 8% chance of that happening. So
there was a great chance the other night, Dylan, but they smoked one to the Blackhawks 5-3. It was an ugly game for the Penguins.
If they had won out, or if they beat Chicago last night and they'd beaten Columbus, the spot would have gone to them rather than New York.
Yep.
But the fact that, again, emphasizing Pittsburgh, one of the best teams of the past 20 years, 3 cups. Crosby's on their team, and he's just an absolute historical player. I hate the fact that I'm saying positive things about Pittsburgh. They lost to Chicago, who, again, also a historically good team. But if you've been listening over the past few months, and I guess few years, Chicago hasn't been too great, so it's kind of funny to watch people lose to them.
Yeah, and the thing is with Pittsburgh, it's all possible. Columbus is terrible this season. Surprised, even though they got Johnny Gaudreau, they were awful this year. However, sadly for Pittsburgh, Montreal is also terrible, and so the Islanders have a really high chance of winning their game as well. So, yeah, it's just kind of like, Pittsburgh's got a favorable draw, but the Islanders should also win. But you never know; it's all possible. Regardless, they'd have to play the Bruins, and while it is going to be intriguing, I'll cheer for whoever plays the Bruins because it would literally be the ultimate underdog. But yeah, not a high likelihood of Boston losing in that round. Maybe the second, but not the first round.
And I guess that's kind of the perfect transition. Obviously, Boston is the overall favorite after they broke the record for most wins in the season with 63 after a 5-3 win over Philly. I think that was Sunday. And the most overall season points after their win against, unfortunately, Washington last night. Who's everyone's pick to kind of root for to win the cup, possibly? Because I'm pretty sure all of our teams got eliminated.
Well, I mean, I'm looking at the Edmonton Oilers. It'll be interesting to see what they can do this season. They still have a chance to win the Pacific Division. And this is always the question. Will they be the Edmonton Oilers starring Connor McDavid, or will they be the Edmonton Soilers starring Leon Draisaitl? You never know. I mean, it's always a tricky question. So far they've been the Edmonton Soilers. They've disappointed over and over again. Got swept by the Jets one year. I mean, lost to the 12 seed Chicago Blackhawks in the COVID bubble. You remember that, Dylan?
Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah, I mean, Edmonton just blows it over and over and over again. But now they've got more depth than they've ever had. They've got a good core of guys together. They've got a better goaltending situation than they've had. Will they actually get all the way? We'll have to see. And then Colorado, of course, just won the Cup. I think the Avalanche are even better than their points record. I think they're extremely dangerous. They just went through a rough patch in the regular season. They were injured to heck and back, and now they've got a really, really strong team still that's still very experienced. But I'm going to be pulling for Seattle. Seattle Kraken. Obviously, why not? Their first ever playoffs. They've got Grubauer in net, who just won the Cup. So they've got a good goaltender there. They've got a solid young team. I'm excited to see how much noise they can make. Hey, Vegas made it all the way to the championship in their first time in the playoffs. Maybe Seattle.
I remember that very much. Anyways, Jackson, Chris, who are you, I guess, kind of bandwagoning with?
I wouldn't call it bandwagoning. I've been a lifelong fan, Dylan. I don't know what you're
there you
talking
go.
about.
You're right.
As of 2 days ago,
We are both on the same page here. Go ahead and tell them, Jackson.
the New Jersey Devils, baby.
Why?
Best season in franchise history. They're one game away from, and it's unfortunately going to be against your Capitals. If they win, it's going to be the best record in franchise history. Huge turnaround from the last 2 seasons. You just have to root for it. It's a feel-good story. Jack Hughes has emerged as one of the better skaters in hockey. I'll say it. I don't watch hockey a lot, but this Jack Hughes kid, I mean, he's impressed me every single time I've turned on the TV and watched him.
Chris, I'm guessing you feel the same way, given what we talked about before the show.
That is correct, Mundo, sir. Yeah, we're on the same page over here, man. We're definitely both with Los Diablos. So, it's an interesting playoffs. I'm certainly I'm on the same page with Jackson also in terms of I don't watch as much hockey as I should, but I do, of course, still try my best to keep up. And I tell you, when the playoffs come around, bro, this is it's a magical time of the year. The NHL and NBA playoffs just coinciding with each other this time of year, it just makes for such a beauty, I think. So I'm very much looking forward to the playoffs as well. But nevertheless, if you guys have nothing else to add for hockey,
I got to make my pick really quick. And
go ahead, please.
So this is going to be very specific. My Stanley Cup final matchup, probably not going to happen, but it'd just be kind of cool if it did. Edmonton versus Toronto, Matthews versus McDavid. Now, that being said, that means Toronto or someone has to beat Boston. And if the Maple Leafs made it to the finals, we wouldn't hear the end of it because, Maple Leafs fans are. but I have Edmonton going over Toronto in this situation. I just think they're an overall better team than the Leafs, and McDavid's an overall better player than Matthews.
Everybody.
Well, yeah, basically. Closing things out really quick, Quinnipiac beat Minnesota to win the NCAA championship. That was really fun to watch, and I guess this is going to be the last time we do this because he's not playing for the rest of the season. What's the point? Ovechkin is finishing the year with 822 career goals, 72 away from Wayne Gretzky, 42 goals this season. Not bad. He beat the estimated pace to get to 894 with, I think the minimum was 33. So he's on track still.
Dylan, I know that hurt. That might be the last time you do the Ovechkin goal tracker here at your time at UT. I promise you we will try and keep the tradition rolling next year for you.
That's a very valid point. I didn't think about that.
It is very sad. I've been thinking
Sad
about it
boy
all
hours.
day. I knew this was going to be the last time you were going to do it.
So here's where you guys are going to have to find someone else that is almost as big of a Caps fan as me and force them to do it. Emphasis on almost. Of course, I know no one is more of a Caps fan than me. Maybe my dad. But when
Dylan,
it comes to students, find someone. Keep it going.
What's understood does not need to be explained, sir. I'm sure WTK will try their best. Maybe you can recruit somebody out of the DMT area to come, represent the Big Orange. So
She's off
maybe we can
tonight.
work
Maybe
in
I'll
tandem.
force Allie to become a Caps fan.
Hey, you know what? She's probably willing. So good on you. All right. Well, we're going to cut to break. We're going to come back. We have got some Tennessee Diamond sports to talk about. And also, there's a football game going on this weekend. Oh, yeah. We're going to get into it on the other side of the break. Stay tuned. This is your Wednesday night edition of Rock Solid Sports here on WTK Rock.
Support for WUTK comes from Fieldhouse Social, the modern sports bar next to campus at University Commons. Fieldhouse Social serves American craft fare such as burgers, wings, and more with high tops around the bar, a separate dining area, and a center lounge with leather chairs and couches in front of their 23-foot LED TV wall for Tennessee and pro sports. Fieldhouse Social is an outdoor patio with trivia twice a week and sponsors Wednesday's Rock Solid Sports. FieldhouseSocial.com.
Hi, this is Rylan from Real Big Fish, and you're listening to 90.3 The Rock, Knoxville's home for classic alternatives.
Volunteer Radio remains on the air thanks to support from the UT Athletic Department. The 2023 baseball fall season runs February into May, with games against SEC rivals Florida, Vandy, Kentucky, and more at Lindsey Nelson Stadium. Ticket info is at allvols.com. Students need to show a valid UT ID at the gate or entrance on a first-come, first-served basis. Tune in to Rock Solid Sports for UT baseball coverage, and the Rock wishes Coach Vitello and the Baseballs good luck on the diamond this season.
The Rock thanks the One Knox Sporting Club soccer team for their support. One Knox plays all of their home matches at Regal Soccer Stadium on campus, and the season runs into October, with matches against Memphis, Chattanooga, Lexington, and more USL League One opponents. Tickets, including UT student tickets and game day info, is at oneknoxsc.com. WTK is proud to be a media partner with One Knox. Rock Solid Sports will be keeping up with One Knox soccer all season long. One Knox SC. We are one.
The Rock receives support from The Hill, Ford Sanders' destination for wings, beer, and sports, including a pre- and post-game hang for UT baseball and softball. The Hill is the home of Rock Solid Sports Friday broadcast from 6 to 7 p.m. Located on Forest Avenue, just blocks from UT campus, The Hill is open 11 a.m. to 3 a.m. every day and has a large covered patio. TheHillKnox.com.
The Rock thanks Cool Beans, 1817 Lake Avenue, 1 block south of the Strip, for sponsoring and hosting Monday night Rock Solid Sports broadcast at 7 p.m. Cool Beans is the campus headquarters for food, brews, pool, shot starts, sports, and more fun. Tuesday night is team trivia night, and Thursday nights are for bingo. CoolBeansBar.com or their Facebook page for more info.
The Rock thanks Lost and Found Records, 3710 North Broadway, for their support. WUTK will be set up at Lost and Found for Record Store Day, Saturday, April 22nd, beginning at 10 a.m. The Rock crew will be hanging out under our tent, and we'll have new WUTK t-shirts, caps, and hoodies for sale to benefit the station, as well as new WUTK stickers. We'll be registering to give away a pair of passes to 2023 Southern Skies Fest in Knoxville. Live music from Epic Ditch, Mercy Lights, and a Stooges tribute will be part of the RSD Fun, along with food, giveaways, cool merch, and all ages are welcome. Info about Record Store Day, April 22nd at Lost and Found Records is on their Facebook page.
Support to keep the Rock on the air comes from the UT Athletic Department and the UT Lady Vols softball team, whose 2023 home season schedule at Sherry Parker Lee Stadium features games against SEC rivals Alabama, Florida, South Carolina, and others. Allvols.com for general public tickets, and UT students are admitted with a valid student ID while seats remain. The Rock wishes Coach Weekly and the Lady Vols softball team good luck on the diamond.
Hey, this is Blake Clark, Cajun coach of the Water Boy. This is 90.3 The Rock of the Hill. Now what remember that?
All right, and welcome back to your Wednesday night edition of Rock Solid Sports here on 90.3 The Rock, rocking ears for 41 years now. Moving right along, aren't we? I am, again, your host, Chris Clark, and I've got Jackson. Is it Connell or is it Cannell? I always meant to ask you that.
People always get it wrong, but it's okay. I don't blame them. We're in the South. I get Connell. I get Cannell. It doesn't matter to me. It's all the same. But you guys kind of missed it in the first segment when we introduced ourselves and we were having some audio issues. But I was telling Chris, we have got to set up in these leather chairs facing the TV one of these days. I'm getting tired of not being able to look at this awesome TV behind us.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. You know what? I don't know why. I really don't know why we haven't tried that before. It probably would be more appealing, but
I would probably fall asleep. That's why we haven't tried it.
Yeah, that could be one of the reasons stopping us. Get a little too comfy, forget we're coming back from break. All right, anyways, let's get back into the action. We've got some Diamond Sports we're talking about. Our UT men's team, of course, they are coming off of a rather tough weekend versus the Florida Gators here at Lindsey Nelson Stadium. However, they were able to rebound just the other day with a win over Eastern Kentucky, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, sir, 14-2.
14-2. Matter of fact, those last two games, the Vols have scored 14 runs apiece. So that's good to see, especially coming off of what we saw from those first two games versus the Gators over the weekend.
Yeah, it was rough, but yesterday was not yesterday, but on Tuesday that was yesterday. But 5 home runs, pretty good night. 9 different pitchers. That kind of surprised me, but that kind of speaks into the depth of our pitching staff that we have here.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, of course, we know about the batter situation. I mean, Tennessee has been not as consistent as last year with being able to put up runs, and especially we've talked about it on ends, the base running, and it's something we still kind of continue to see plagued them from time to time. And now we talked about it last week. We're halfway through the season now, right? Like at this point, you got to be able to hone in and dig your heels in and stop committing unforced errors. Be smarter when it comes to that. But the pitching staff, we've not been able to worry about them too much. I mean, they've kind of held their ground and done what they've needed to do as well. Want to get your guys' take on the Florida series over the weekend, especially how you feel about these past two games. And as we move forward, we have Arkansas coming up, and that's not going to be an easy series by any means.
So I was at the first game and the last game. And the first one obviously was a disappointment. I know Florida is a game on any Tennessee sports calendar that everyone always looks forward to. And so losing 2-1 is just a bummer. That being said, the last game, which I don't even know why I was at, it was freezing cold and rainy and just miserable. But we were able to pull the Mercy Rule win, which I guess it didn't help much, but it was kind of a morale boost for everyone. And walking into this upcoming weekend, you got to find those mistakes that we made in Florida and just patch them up as soon as possible in practice.
Yeah, I mean, and Florida is such an incredible team this season. They've really turned it on. It's been fantastic. But, I'm pleased that Tennessee was able to win Game 3. It kind of like almost reminds me of the LSU series where lost first two, but they still came away with the win. Those are just a couple of incredible teams. Not going to be easy to win against them at all. But it's good to see the offense is finally coming together. This lineup just needs more time to gel. The baseball season still has a little ways to go. And, maybe Tennessee gets hot in May, and then, anything can happen there. Once this lineup gels, I think we do have a top 5 caliber team. It's just they need a little
bit. Chris, you said something about the Arkansas series coming up this weekend.
Yes, sir. Number 5 Arkansas at that.
Number 5 Arkansas. Coming off a big win yesterday, 21-5 over Little Rock. Things are not looking so great right now.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about mercy rule earlier, right? I mean, the mercy run rule. Like, I think Little Rock is on the verge of doing that to the Hogs right now. Now, granted, we know these slip-ups can happen, especially mid-season, right? You start having more kinks and things than maybe you did to start the year. But nevertheless, this is very, very interesting news.
21-5 yesterday, and then 10-3 right now
21-5
in the bottom of the 7th inning. Really interested to see how that one plays out. I think that Tennessee has got to get some momentum in the SEC play, and I think that this Arkansas series, I say this now, we could be talking about this in a week, and I could be biting my words, but we really need to get some momentum going in the SEC play, and I think Arkansas could be the series that we could get a couple wins out of.
Yeah, or, this could do what I think a lot of us expected to do is really just upset them, and now they go into the series with us with a big chip on their shoulder. Now, granted, it's one game, I get it, but, nobody likes losing, especially to a smaller in-state opponent. Exactly. Little brother
in-state.
That's the equivalent of Tennessee Tech handing it to us. So, nevertheless, Tennessee currently ranked number 16 right now. Again, we talked about the Florida series as well as the Eastern Kentucky game. So just stay tuned. At Arkansas, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, that'll most definitely be a series to watch out for. And as Devin said, this is the time where you got to put up or shut up. Maybe the guys can start gelling and doing what we need to see them to do. I wholeheartedly agree. The talent in the lineup is there. We have just got to start seeing it in efficient ways. So hopefully that begins to start happening. I want to transition to softball real quick because that's one of the hottest things on campus right now. They are currently ranked number 5 in the country. Coming off of the Tennessee Invitational, they were able to beat Mercer 11-0. That was, I believe, another run rule game. However, they lost both games to Baylor 1-0, and then 8-5 in this. And the second game against Mercer was canceled. So we had, going into this, we had 4 games. A lot of us talked about this leading up. Most of us expected at least 3-1, if not maybe 4-0. And it ends up being 1-2. I mean, that definitely kind of took some wind out of the Lady Vols' sail, if you will. They definitely had some things rocking, and now it seems like it's a bit of a humbling experience at this point in the season.
Well, it's a long season. I mean, it really is. And that's the other thing. You're not going to have a perfect season. And, slip-ups are going to happen. Is it something that we wanted out of the weekend? No. Is there learning experiences to be had? Yes. But I think that this team definitely has the capabilities to push forward from this and not take these games, these 2 losses, as seriously as, they normally would.
Yeah, and kind of what happened in this game was, I was at the second Baylor game. First off, terrible weather. It was on the same day as Dylan said, that Tennessee-Florida game. But, of course, earlier in the day. Terrible weather. I almost thought they were going to cancel it, but they just said, it's not quite bad enough. We can push this in. And so they did. It was raining a little bit at the beginning, but they ended up pushing through, had the game. The problem was just that second inning. Baylor put up all 8 of their runs in just 1 inning. And it was an inning where Carolyn Pickens, who's usually an ace, I mean, she's incredible, but just, you have your off days, and she definitely had an off day here, and head coach Karen Weekly tried to keep Pickens in, but the bases kept getting loaded and kept getting runs across the singles, and nobody was getting out. And finally, he pulls Pickens and puts in a freshman pitcher, which was an interesting decision. Nonetheless, though, Tennessee tried to come back later, just didn't happen. Baylor, they are a good team. I mean, they beat Oklahoma once earlier in the season. I think that's still the Sooners' loss. So Baylor's not completely terrible. They are a pretty solid team. And now Tennessee's going to go on the road against one of our hated rivals, Kentucky. And Kentucky's an interesting team. They beat top 10 Washington earlier in the season, and they swept Missouri. But they've also lost a series against Texas A&M at home. They beat Ole Miss in a series, but 2 out of 3, Tennessee swept them. So Kentucky, they are a solid team, but they've also had their slip-ups. Tennessee, though, they're going to have to go into Lexington, try to find a way to actually. They can have a similar trouble with the baseball team. Can they keep the offense consistent, not way too reliant on the pitching that we have? Because Tennessee softball, they've got elite pitching. Because the hitting, though, it's very touch and go.
Yeah, so I mean, for the Lady Vols, obviously, as I mentioned earlier, I think this, it probably did set them back just a little bit. But as you said, Devin, I mean, you had some things going on there, especially with the weather. And I'm not trying to make excuses for it, but when we have better conditions and what have you, we see with this team and when they are at their best. So moving forward against Kentucky, number 15 Kentucky, it is a team, as you said, that could definitely pose some problems for them. But, Lady Vols for sure going to try and just keep their wits about them, be able to go into Lexington and try to get out a series victory. So, both of our men's and women's be down in Fayetteville and Lexington here this upcoming weekend. So, as we always say, everyone, support your baseballs and your Lady Vols, especially those Lady Vols. They are on fire, at least have been for the most part of the season. All right. Now let's transition to a sport we haven't talked about on this show in a while.
It's been a minute.
It has been a while. Let's get into some football talk because we have the orange and white game back. It is coming up this Saturday, and everyone on campus is just buzzing about it because, it's a new thing they're doing this year with the whole fans, paying a few bucks here or there for a ticket. But they have sold already over 70,000 seats for the game this weekend. I mean, I think everybody in Knoxville is buzzing about this game and looking to see what can we expect next out of these football balls.
I'll tell you, there's one person that I've been keen on since last year. He had a couple breakout games. And that's Dylan Sampson. I'm really excited to see how this kid can go. He can move. I mean, fly. He burst through the line, and it's like he's off to the races in an Indy 500. It blows me away how quick this kid can move. I loved his production last year. It's something I'm going to be looking forward to this year. And then, obviously, we're all going to be excited to see how Nico's throwing. We all love Joe. We're all excited to see what he's going to do next year. But I am excited to see how Nico throws that ball around. We'll see.
Look, it's the Joe show right now, but we know it's going to be the Nico show sooner or later. So that's definitely something everyone's looking forward to. Guys, back at the studio, man. How hyped are you to have a football game this weekend?
I know I'm going to be there this weekend. I know it's not going to be the same energy as a real football game, but just being back in Neyland with however many people are going to be there. I got my friends coming. It's going to be an absolute blast. The weather is going to be absolutely perfect. I can't think of a better way to spend a Saturday.
Yeah, it seems like it's going to be a lot of fun, and good on Tennessee for doing a great job of advertising and hyping it up. I mean, I know I was at the softball game multiple times. They mentioned the orange and white game over and over, and they kept it going for several weeks. So I think the university did a really good job marketing the game. I still don't like that they're having students pay, even though it is just a small amount, I know that, but having students pay to see a practice, a glorified practice. I think it should be free for students, but it is still very exciting.
You have to pay for tickets even if you're a student?
Yes, yeah, you have to pay.
That is annoying.
That's a recent policy change. I think it's $10 tickets for students.
Yeah.
Which in the past was free, as it should be for practice. That's my opinion. But hey, lots of students paid for it anyways. So, I mean, the university is going to be looking at me and saying, well, I mean, you're paid for it anyways.
If you ask me, I guess we're still paying for those goalposts from back in October, because I don't know any other reason why students are being charged. But nevertheless, though, it is still impressive because it does add to the ticket count as far as like knowing kind of expectancy of how many people are going to be at this game. So again, yes, it is in a bit of a way a glorified scrimmage. Well, it is a scrimmage basically, but a glorified practice. But it does give us, again, it's been excuse me, it's been 4 months already since we've seen the guys on the field. It definitely it just gives you a little something, right, when you're in the middle part of like the end of one season and the start of the next. So it's just a little tasting, a little morsel of something. And I think for Tennessee especially, again, just how much change we're going to see with this team, I think it definitely generates a lot more excitement than ordinarily it probably would.
Yeah, I think the hype is there, and the next thing that I'm going to say, good luck finding parking or driving this weekend. I wouldn't try it. I wouldn't even think about it. I'm walking everywhere. I'm walking to work. I'm walking everywhere on campus. I wouldn't even think about getting in my car. There's going to be so many people in Knoxville. It's going to be ridiculous. It's going to be like we're in the middle of the regular season and we're hosting Alabama again.
Sure. I mean, again, just to reiterate, we're talking over 70,000, and that could grow even in the next few days. So, and you're talking about, that's only 30,000 shy. If you kind of look at some of the games we had last year, that was give or take the amount of people that were coming maybe for the smaller opponents and things like that. So, I mean, it's gonna feel like a game atmosphere. So that is what will be awesome about it for sure. So just want to, again, reiterate to everyone, man, to go out there and check out the guys this Saturday. Not a lot riding on this, right? Because it's just orange versus white, but it's so beautiful to see. And if you're a student like some of us, this might be your last chance to see those Vols out on the field while you are a student still. So, nevertheless, looking forward to that experience and whatnot. So, anyway, we're going to take our final break. We're going to be back on the other side. We have got pro sports coming up. As we talked about earlier, NHL playoffs going on, NBA playoffs also going on as well. We'll give you some MLB and MLS updates as well. So stay tuned. This is your Wednesday night edition of Rock Solid Sports here on WTK The Rock.
Volunteer Radio receives support from Tennessee Smokies Baseball, the AA Southern League affiliate of the Chicago Cubs, whose 2023 regular season schedule features 6-game homestands Tuesdays through Sundays at nearby Smoky Stadium in Kodak against the Chattanooga Lookouts, Mississippi Braves, Birmingham Barons, and more. WUTK's Rock Solid Sports covers Smokies baseball all season long. SmokiesBaseball.com. Link up at WUTKRadio.com.
You're tuned to 90.3 The Rock, Volunteer Radio, WUTK FM. Proudly sharing playlists with listeners since 1982.
Support for WUTK comes from Fieldhouse Social, the modern sports bar next to campus at University Commons. Fieldhouse Social serves American craft fare such as burgers, wings, and more with high tops around the bar, a separate dining area, and a center lounge with leather chairs and couches in front of their 23-foot LED TV wall for Tennessee and pro sports. Fieldhouse Social has an outdoor patio with trivia twice a week and sponsors Wednesday's Rock Solid Sports. FieldhouseSocial.com.
The Rock thanks the One Knox Sporting Club soccer team for their support. One Knox plays all of their home matches at Regal Soccer Stadium on campus, and the season runs into October, with matches against Memphis, Chattanooga, Lexington, and more USL League One opponents. Tickets, including UT student tickets and game day info, is at oneknoxsc.com. WTK is proud to be a media partner with One Knox. Rock Solid Sports will be keeping up with One Knox soccer all season long. One Knox SC. We are one.
Support to keep the Rock on the air comes from the UT Athletic Department and the UT Lady Vols softball team, whose 2023 home season schedule at Sherry Parker Lee Stadium features games against SEC rivals Alabama, Florida, South Carolina, and others. Allvols.com for general public tickets, and UT students are admitted with a valid student ID while seats remain. The Rock wishes Coach Weekly and the Lady Vols softball team good luck on the diamond.
The Rock receives support from The Hill, Ford Sanders' destination for wings, beer, and sports, including a pre- and post-game hang for UT baseball and softball. The Hill is the home of Rock Solid Sports Friday broadcast from 6 to 7 p.m. Located on Forest Avenue, just blocks from UT campus, The Hill is open 11 a.m. to 3 a.m. every day and has a large covered patio. TheHillKnox.com.
The other half can.
Good people of the world, this is James.
And this is Aaron from the Dirty Governors.
And you're listening to 90.3 The Rock, local music's best friend.
Volunteer Radio remains on air thanks to support from the Knoxville Ice Bears professional hockey team. The Ice Bears' first playoff game on home ice is this Friday, April 14th, against the Huntsville Havoc in a best 2 out of 3 first-round series. Face-off is at 7:35 p.m. at the Knoxville Civic Coliseum downtown. Ice Bears playoff tickets are available at KnoxvilleIceBears.com or 865-525-HUCK. A link is at WUTKRadio.com. Tune in to WUTK's Rock Solid Sports for Ice Bears playoff news and updates. Volunteer Radio says go Ice Bears. Good luck in the playoffs.
Volunteer Radio receives support from Tennessee Smokies Baseball, the AA Southern League affiliate of the Chicago Cubs, whose 2023 regular season schedule features 6-game homestands Tuesdays through Sundays at nearby Smoky Stadium in Kodak against the Chattanooga Lookouts, Mississippi Braves, Birmingham Barons, and more. WUTK's Rock Solid Sports covers Smokies baseball all season long. SmokiesBaseball.com. Link up at WUTKRadio.com.
The Rock thanks Cool Beans, 1817 Lake Avenue, 1 block south of the Strip, for sponsoring and hosting the Monday Night Rock Solid Sports broadcast at 7 p.m. Cool Beans offers lunch daily and is 21 and over after 9 p.m. with a full and late night menu, and is the pre- and post-game on-campus location for Balls and Smokies baseball and Lady Ball softball. MLB, pro soccer, and even the Preds on the big screens. CoolBeansBar.com or their Facebook page for more info.
Volunteer Radio remains on the air thanks to support from the UT Athletic Department. The 2023 baseball fall season runs February into May, with games against SEC rivals Florida, Vandy, Kentucky, and more at Lindsey Nelson Stadium. Ticket info is at allballs.com. Students need to show a valid UT ID at the gate or entrance on a first-come, first-served basis. Tune in to Rock Solid Sports for UT baseball coverage, and The Rock wishes Coach Vitello and the Baseballs good luck on the diamond this season.
Knoxville, be sure to tune in Wednesday nights from 8 until 10 p.m. for The Alternative, sponsored by Bliss and Corey Mason Shoes on Gate Street and Westel Mall. And Bliss Home with the Gallery Shopping Center, also sponsored by Boyd's Chicken Grill, bar and live music venue in the heart of Knoxville's Old City. The Alternative features 2 hours of the best in Americana music from the station who first brought Knoxville music by bands from back in the alt-country days, like the Jayhawks, Uncle Tupelo, Steve Earle, and Jason and the Scorchers, to 90s Americana like the V-Roys, Whiskey Town, Lucinda Williams, Sunvold, and others, to modern-day Americana musicians like Molly Tuttle, Tyler Childers, Casey Musgrave, Sturgill Simpson, Billy Strings, and the Punch Brothers. You'll also get classic Americana like Johnny Cash, the band, and Emmylou Harris, and there's always Patsy Cline at 9. Tune in Wednesday nights at 8 for The Alternative. Sponsored by Boyd's Chicken Grill, Bliss Home, and Corey Mason Shoes, and only on 90.3 The Rock, UT's College of Rock.
This is your co-host, Jackson Cannell. I'm sitting here with the best guy in the world, our host, Chris. We are sitting here at Fieldhouse Social. Our Wednesday night show is sponsored by Fieldhouse Social, 2525 University Commons Way for their support. American craft food, beer, and cocktails, a 21-foot digital big screen TV indoors, and plenty more TVs throughout the restaurant, and a back patio. Open at 11 a.m. on Wednesdays through Sundays, and open at 4 p.m. on Mondays and Tuesdays.
Good on you, sir. And, I'll take the compliment, whether or not it's true, man. I could use a little boost this week. So, yeah, appreciate it. And you know what, though? Fieldhouse, again, always providing a wonderful atmosphere. Don't forget trivia on Wednesday nights. You always hear it in the background, I know. So, yeah, always a fun time going on down here on Wednesday nights at Fieldhouse Social. All right, so we are back on, and we are going to get right into some MLB talk because, we're a little bit of the ways into the season. We're starting to fill out some teams. So let's go ahead and get a breakdown of who's leading those divisions right now. In the AL, we have the Texas Rangers shockingly leading the AL West right now. They've been holding on for over a week or so, so that's probably a record from over the past few years for them. Minnesota Twins have taken over first place from the Cleveland Guardians. Yes, in the Central Division. And in the East, we have the best team amongst anybody right now, the Tampa Bay Rays, who are just putting on a clinic left and right. They are 11-0. Granted, 8 of those games were at home for the Rays, but nevertheless, this is baseball, baby. They're still taking care of business day in and day out. We'll get into that here in just a second. NL leaders on the other side, we've got the Brewers leading in the Central Division. The Diamondbacks still leading out in the West. Somehow they're tied with the Padres right now. They do have the advantage at the moment, and the Dodgers not too far behind, but currently sitting in third place. And we've also got the Braves in first place right now. So we've got the crew here. We've also got Riley Haltom, fellow Dodgers fan here at WTK, joining us for this segment. Let's just get into it, guys, real quick. About the MLB. I'm surprised as anybody about the Rays, but I tell you what, especially out west, the Diamondbacks leading right now. That's just as shocking to me.
Yeah, I think what you're seeing with the Rays, right? They had probably the best stretch of 3 series to start the season on, right? You get the Tigers, the Nats, and the A's. Probably the 3 worst teams in Major League Baseball. It probably will be the 3 worst teams this year. So an ideal start for them and a historic start for them. I think outscored the other teams by a combined score of 57. Scored 57 more runs in that time over their opponents. So just an insane start for them. And certainly to their credit, they have been very hot, right? Wander Franco, 4 home runs. Brandon Lowe, 4 home runs. Having 2 guys to hit that mark that quickly in the season, they're having an incredible season so far. So it's the kind of start that the Rays were hoping for, I'm sure, and one that probably is surprising a few people that they've gone perfect during that stretch. About to clinch a series win over the Red Sox, trying to do that tonight with a lead of 6-1 right now. So probably set up to win their first 4 series of the season, if not go perfect in that stretch. So just an insane start.
Yeah, most certainly is. There's definitely been some surprises, but you're right. The Rays, no one could have asked for a better start versus the opponents. But as I said, this is still baseball. Like we're not used to seeing, the team that should win constantly win. So I think for me, just what they're able to do, no matter who they lose, they're able to plug and replace, and it just seems like they're able to keep an efficient system running. Jackson, what do you got on that?
I heard Riley. Did you say that Riley's a Dodgers fan? Because I know
Riley
my Giants,
is a Dodgers
Giants
fan.
had a little 5-0 upset last night. Riley, you got anything to say about that?
Man, been a rough start for my Dodgers so far. I'll give you that. And the Giants, they won that one, and they played well. You can't count out the Dodgers, though, man. You never can count out the Dodgers. They're always going to be competitive. You can't count them out ever. So, we'll see how it turns out tonight, and I believe tomorrow as well.
Yeah, it's just one game. It's just one game. I was lucky that we walked away with the. I think there was one point where 0 outs. Bases were loaded. I was scared. Scared that you guys were about to take the lead, but somehow walked away with one. I'll take it.
Well, as I said, sometimes the better team just doesn't always win. That's why we give the Rays those credit, and no offense to your Giants. But, the Dodgers are a team that you're going to watch out for, especially down the road. I can't say anything. My Astros are not off to a ideal start. Granted, we're working through some things, but nevertheless, I understand. I feel you, Riley. But we know this is an incredibly long sport as far as the season goes. So a lot of talking that'll be going on, especially not just in this semester, but as we get into next semester's Rock Solid Sports. Anyway, just want to let's transition real quick to the NBA because we got the playoffs going on this weekend. Play-in games going on right now. We've got the Nuggets and the Grizz at top the West, number 1 and number 2. We've got the Lakers who clinched that 7 seed. They beat the Timberwolves. Jackson's Timberwolves,
Yeah,
man.
that was a rough game. It was an implosion, but honestly, I saw that coming from 2 miles away.
Yeah, that's for sure. That's for sure. But playing the Grizz, the Lakers will in the first series. I mean, this is something I think Dylan Brooks kind of, if I'm not mistaken, kind of spoke into existence, talking about wanting to put LeBron out in the first round. So they got him now, and that's going to pose a very interesting series, undoubtedly.
Yeah, I wouldn't want LeBron when things of this nature are on the line.
Well, and
like
especially
last
the way
night.
the Lakers are playing right
Yes.
now. I mean,
Yes.
they're kind of rolling, so this is not the time. If you were talking about the Lakers from a couple of months ago, then you're like, okay,
Yeah, I want
run
the
that.
Lakers.
Let's get them in the first round, right? Now the Grizzlies, I don't know, maybe they're biting off more than they can chew. This Lakers team is going to pose a few problems, but I got to admit, look, y'all know I'm a Spurs fan. The Grizz, they get to me sometimes, and so I still think they're going to win this series, though, nevertheless, because they are the younger team, the more talented team, I think, for sure. And we just don't know whatever's going to happen with, especially AD in the playoffs. I mean, is he going to be there for every game? That's always
Chris,
always an issue.
I'm going the opposite. I'm taking the Lakers on this series.
Okay.
I think Memphis proved their colors last year versus Minnesota. Minnesota almost should have had it. But
Should have.
in a 7-game series, I don't know. And it's LeBron. I think this is his last shot to actually make some sort of a run. We'll see. I like LeBron doing it.
For sure. Real quick before I throw it to you guys in the studio for any thoughts y'all got on this. We got OKC versus New Orleans that's going on tonight. That will determine who Minnesota will play in order to try and get that 8 seed so that way that they can stay in the playoffs. So throw it back to you guys real quick, man. What do y'all think about the Grizzlies-Lakers series? And, I mean, do you think who do you got clinching that final spot in the West?
Yep. Well, I don't blame Dylan Brooks for going after LeBron James. I mean, he's a tough guy. All he's got to do is he's just got to touch LeBron James. He'll go flopping on the court like usual. He'll touch him in the chest. He'll grab his knee and roll around and get free throws. So yeah, I mean, I obviously like the Grizzlies to win this one. They've had a lot of distractions with the whole John Morant situation, which we don't get into at all, but even more weird stuff comes out of Morant's past. So, they just got to if they can just put all those distractions behind them, I think the Grizzlies win this one easily. I think LeBron is way too old. Anthony Davis is way too injury prone. I think the Lakers lose badly. I think they were better when LeBron was injured. I mean, they were winning more games when LeBron was literally injured. Austin Reeves was, going off for a little bit. So, I mean, I don't know. I think the Grizzlies have this one, but can they mentally keep the distractions to a minimum? So far, they've been able to do that. That's definitely going to be an interesting one. As for the other ones, I expect them all to be very competitive. Atlanta, they've literally been the most middle team possible. So we'll see, though. We'll see how those other games go. It should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, Atlanta last night took on the Miami Heat. They clinched the 7th seed, and they are going to be playing the Boston Celtics in the first round. And right now we got Chicago and Toronto also going on, winner to play Miami to see who clinches that final spot in the playoffs leading up to this weekend. I believe we are out of time. I wanted to do some NBA Finals predictions, but that's okay. Maybe we can get to it next week. Guys, thank you all so much for joining tonight. However you join, we appreciate you. Appreciate your support. Thank you to Fieldhouse Social, and we will catch you guys next week.